Tonight, the explosive Capitol Hill hearing. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. grilled on vaccines and so much more. Fiery moments as Republicans and Democrats press the HHS Secretary about public health in America. Kennedy defiant, blaming the CDC for pandemic deaths and rejecting criticisms that he's making it harder to get vaccines. The growing tropical threats. We're tracking major storms in the Atlantic and Pacific on the move tonight. New video of the deadly disaster, a tram derailing and smashing through the streets of Lisbon, killing 16. We now know an American is among the dead. You'll hear from witnesses describing the horrifying moments the tram came crashing off its tracks. Tonight, the NBC exclusive, Jenna Bush Hager sitting down with the devastated parents whose children never returned from Camp Mystic, now demanding action, and the haunting last letters from their daughters. Aerial rescue, a worker high up on a light pole at a baseball stadium hitting his head, unable to come down, the race to save him from the sky. The plan promised to Americans, if the airlines delayed your flight and it was their fault, they should pay. So why did the Trump administration just scrap the proposal? Tom Costello standing by. Remembering fashion giant Giorgio Armani, the mark he left on fashion from Hollywood to Wall Street to the red carpet. And with the NFL season set to kick off, a young Eagles fan who's overcome so much getting the surprise of a lifetime from the Super Bowl champs themselves. Nightly News starts right now.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Yamas.
And good evening. It was one of the most explosive days on Capitol Hill since President Trump's second term began. His health secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., facing tough questions by senators on both sides of the aisle over vaccines, public health, and basic trust in medical care. One senator accusing him of, quote, reckless disregard for science and the truth. But Secretary Kennedy didn't back down, saying the CDC made mistakes during the pandemic and changes were necessary. It all adds up to a critical moment with public trust in health care in America shaken ahead of cold and flu and COVID season. Our Ryan Noble starts us off tonight from Capitol Hill.
Tonight, the grilling.
Sir, you're a charlatan.
Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy pressed by senators about his controversial shakeup at the CDC.
You're making things up to scare people, and it's a lie.
With respect, I do not think I'm the one making things up.
Kennedy questioned about changes to recommendations for the COVID vaccine, to say it's only needed for older and high-risk Americans, which a CDC panel will review within weeks. This from Republican Bill Cassidy, a medical doctor whose vote was critical to Kennedy's confirmation.
I would say effectively we're denying people vaccine.
Democrat Elizabeth Warren arguing the new recommendations mean some people can no longer get COVID boosters at the pharmacy.
I'm not taking them away. Everybody can get access to them.
No, they can't walk into a pharmacy the way they could last month and get access.
It depends on the state. It depends on the states.
A year ago,
but they can still get it.
But Rachel Sampers-Alaya says she's been unable to schedule a COVID booster, and she's worried about her daughter with asthma.
My biggest concern right now is going through the winter and ending up with COVID and having a kid end up in the hospital.
Another flashpoint, the firing of CDC Director Susan Monarez, who today writes she was dismissed because she refused to pre-approve the recommendations of a vaccine advisory panel newly filled with people who have publicly expressed anti-vaccine rhetoric.
I did not say that to her.
So she's lying today to the American people in the Wall Street Journal.
Yes, sir.
Kennedy, who's pushed debunked theories linking vaccines to autism, saying he's not against them.
Saying I'm anti-vaccine is like saying I'm anti-medicine. Well, I'm pro-medicine, but I understand some medicines harm people.
And saying revamping the CDC is necessary because it made critical mistakes during the pandemic.
When it's disastrous and nonsensical policies destroyed small businesses, violated civil liberties, and the people at CDC who oversaw that process, who put masks on our children, who closed our schools, are the people who will be leaving.
Today, he was pressed about how many people died from COVID.
You don't have any idea how many Americans died from COVID?
I don't think anybody knows that because there was so much data chaos coming out of the CDC.
You were sitting as Secretary of Health and Human Services? How can you be that ignorant?
And tonight, a former CDC director says Kennedy is dangerously undermining the institution.
This is about not fundamentally being grounded in the evidence and the data that should drive decision making, and that is why we raised the alarm.
And with that, Ryan joins us now live from Capitol Hill. And Ryan, I know you have new reporting that after that heated hearing, the White House is giving Secretary Kennedy a vote of confidence?
Tom, that's right. Kennedy had moments where he was very critical of the COVID vaccine, but he did praise President Trump's Operation Warp Speed, which helped to develop it. Tonight, 2 administration sources telling NBC News the president still has confidence in him. Tom?
Ryan Noble's leading us off tonight. Ryan, we thank you. We're also tracking tropical threats in the Atlantic and the Pacific tonight, with Tropical Storm Lorena already bringing flash floods and mudslides to parts of Mexico, but especially in Baja California, wiping out roads. You see it right here and covering them in mud. I want to get right to Bill Cairns. And Bill, not the only tropical threat tonight. It's all over the map.
No, we have 3 of them. So we'll start with the immediate concern. We already have flash flooding that's ongoing in Mexico and in areas of Arizona. The storm is weak in Lorena, but the moisture is already in place. We have at least a dozen flash flood warnings at this time in areas of Arizona, California, and a little portion there of Utah. This will continue tonight and right through tomorrow. The Hawaiian Islands, you still have about 5 to 6 days to prepare for Kiko. It's not going to be the beast of a storm it is now, a Category 4. It's slowly going to weaken in the days ahead, but still a Category 1 or a tropical storm by the time it gets close to the Big Island, and it could bring a lot of life-threatening flash flooding if it does hit. The other area of concern, Tom, is out here in the Atlantic. We have a long time to watch this one, but this could be our next big storm that we watch all next week.
Okay, we'll keep our eyes on that one. Bill, we thank you. Tonight, the Department of Justice filing 2 lawsuits against a California utility company, alleging they are to blame for the deadly Eaton wildfire that ignited earlier this year and scorched a Los Angeles neighborhood. Liz Kreutz has the story.
Tonight, 8 months since the Eaton fire ravaged parts of East Los Angeles, killing 19 people and destroying more than 9,000 homes, the DOJ accusing one of the state's largest utility companies of starting it.
Southern California Edison negligently failed to properly maintain its power and transmission lines, negligence that had deadly and very costly consequences.
In 2 lawsuits against SoCal Edison, the U.S. government says they're seeking more than $77 million in damages for both the Eaton fire in Altadena and the 2022 Fairview fire in Riverside County, alleging a troubling pattern of negligence. While investigators have not officially ruled on the cause of the Eaton fire, videos like this one have emerged showing flames at the base of an electrical tower in the early minutes of the blaze.
We believe that the evidence is clear, that Edison is at fault. The reason not to wait is because fire season's coming up again. We want Edison to change the way it does business.
In a statement, SoCal Edison responding in part, while the cause of the fire is still under investigation, we will review this lawsuit and respond through the appropriate legal channels. It all comes as firefighters are actively battling dozens of other wildfires across the West, from Washington State, where the Rattlesnake Fire is burning west of Spokane, to California, where crews are gaining ground on multiple brush fires that ignited from a lightning storm outside Yosemite National Park.
And Liz joins us again tonight from the fire zone. Liz, let's go back to your report there. The DOJ is seeking $77 million in damages, but what about the compensation for fire victims?
Yeah, Tom, the DOJ lawsuit would not compensate fire victims. SoCal Edison has launched a wildfire compensation program for wildfire victims, but all of this as they are still facing dozens of lawsuits from victims, potentially totaling hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in damages. Tom.
All right, Liz Kreutz for us tonight. Liz, we thank you. Now to that deadly tram accident in Portugal, and late word tonight that an American is among those killed, as we're seeing new images from the moment after Wednesday's crash. Here's Keir Simmons.
Tonight, the harrowing new video emerging, taken seconds after that deadly tram crash as people rush to help, with the State Department now confirming at least 1 American was killed when the tram derailed in Portugal. These images showing the dust clouds from the impact, people screaming, while others pulling at the mangled wreckage. A lot of people died, one man is heard saying. In the streetcar below, frightened passengers climb out of windows, and tonight describing how their car dropped, only to see a second car careening towards them from above.
We felt no brakes anymore. I don't know what happened. Either the cable, either the driver. I don't know. We heard the other one coming up, rolling down.
Authorities say the death toll has risen. At least 16 people killed when the popular Lisbon tourist attraction derailed and crashed into a building. Unconfirmed media reports, citing firefighters' organisations, say a steel cable connecting the cars may have come loose. Witnesses with similar accounts.
It was coming down the hill. Something was wrong with the cable. It lost control, didn't have any braking ability.
An investigation is underway tonight, and officials saying all Lisbon's funiculars have been suspended for investigation. The mayor saying they need answers. Tom?
That is true. All right, Kira, thanks to you. Now to Arizona, back here in the States, in a dramatic rescue that unfolded at least 10 stories high in the sky after an injured worker got stuck at the top of a light pole. Cameras captured it all midair. We get more now tonight from Camila Bernal.
A worker left stranded more than 100 feet in the air atop this towering light pole in a stadium in Mesa, Arizona. The man who was changing the lights at Hohokam Stadium was injured when a piece of equipment failed, striking him in the head, according to the fire department.
He got very dizzy and did not feel comfortable climbing the light tower physically down the way he came up.
Mesa firefighters geared up, raised their ladder to get as close as possible, then climbed the massive pole.
So it's not easy.
It's not easy, but it sure is fun.
After nearly an hour, crews finally reached the injured worker, carefully securing him into a rescue harness.
They rigged the system to take positive control of our rescue package and lower him down to the ground while pulling him away from the light tower.
Once on the ground, first responders immediately took him to the hospital. Officials say he's expected to be okay. Camila Bernal, NBC News.
We head to Texas now, where parents of some of the Camp Mystic flooding victims are opening up in an exclusive and powerful interview about their grief and efforts to protect future campers as the governor is poised to sign tougher regulations on youth camps into law. We get details tonight from Priscilla Thompson.
Seal would be in 3rd grade right now, starting dance, soccer, talking about Halloween costumes incessantly. But instead, she is lost in the Guadalupe River right now.
2 months after catastrophic floods tore through the Texas Hill Country, the parents of 8-year-old Seal Stewart still wait.
Hoping and praying that our child's body to be returned to us.
Every phone call, every text, your heart stops because you hope it's the one.
Their daughter, among the 27 young lives swept away at Camp Mystic. Those parents, in an exclusive Today Show interview with Jenna Bush Hager, remembering their girls and their final letters home.
I love you. I miss you so much. I just can't wait to see you. Happy July 4th. She was happy. Just said, "Dear Mom, I'm having so much fun."
Families united in grief, now fighting for change.
This wasn't an accident. This was complacency.
Spending the week since their children's death urging lawmakers to pass the Heavens 27 Camp Safety Act, which prohibits licensing of youth camps with cabins in floodplains with limited exceptions based on level of risk, requires camps to have an emergency warning and public address system that works without internet, and to display evacuation routes in every cabin. Camp Mystic writing in a statement, it supports the legislation and applauds the families for their meaningful advocacy and leadership. The governor says he will sign the bill into law on Friday.
We sometimes say, man, I hope we never forget about what Molly was like. And the Heavens 27 family is a way for us to never, ever let the world forget these girls.
Our girls' legacy was not that they died in vain.
Priscilla Thompson, NBC News.
And our thanks to Priscilla and Jenna for that powerful story. We turn now to remembering Giorgio Armani, the Italian fashion designer and mogul who is dead at the age of 91. He was known for creating slick suits and gorgeous gowns and making the red carpet just as important as the events themselves. Here's Stephanie Gosk.
Giorgio Armani, the fashion designer everyone knows, even if they know nothing about fashion. The 91-year-old, whose jaw-dropping dresses and sleek suits redefined red carpets, has died. His company calling him indefatigable, saying he worked until his final days. When you hear the name Armani, what comes to mind?
Genius,
To me, he was such a visionary. We lost a huge talent in the fashion and creative worlds.
Born in Piacenza, Italy in 1934, Armani did not come from a wealthy family. He found his way into fashion after serving in the military and then working at a department store in Milan as a window dresser and a buyer. Armani's first clothing line dropped in the 1970s, but it was the 80s when his suits caught everyone's eye.
Bonsoir. Everyone remembers American Gigolo. That's what created this huge departure into the worldwide platform, let's say. This soft, fluid tailoring clothes that defined the 80s and define a new type of power for men and women.
That suit, Richard Gere.
Exactly.
That man does not go back into that courtroom. Do you understand me?
And then Armani became a Hollywood staple, dressing the industry's biggest stars in the biggest movies. But as much entrepreneur as designer, Armani's business exploded far beyond the iconic power suit, creating a worldwide brand with affordable Armani Exchange and branching out to books, hotels, and makeup. He leaves behind a business empire worth billions and an indelible mark on fashion history. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News, New York.
All right, we'll be right back in 60 seconds with the news for flyers. Why a plan to pay you for delayed flights has suddenly been grounded. Right after this. All right, we're back now with a move by the Trump administration to dismantle some of the airline passenger rights pushed by the Biden administration. Tom Costello covers aviation first. And Tom, some of those rules involved compensating passengers for delayed flights?
Yeah, that's right. So the Trump DOT is dropping a plan proposed by the Biden administration last year that would require airlines to compensate passengers for flight delays of at least 3 hours when caused by the airlines. Now, the airlines have been fighting that rule, arguing it would drive ticket prices higher. The DOT is also considering amending or doing away with Biden rules that we reported on here, which required airlines to be more transparent in their ticket prices. 3 years ago, most airlines agreed to compensate passengers for meals and hotels during significant delays or cancellations. Today, the airline lobbying group A4A said it is encouraged that the administration is reviewing those burdensome regulations. Tom.
All right, Tom Costello for us. Tom, we thank you. When we come back, what FBI agents took when they searched the home of vocal Trump critic John Bolton. Stay with us. We're back now with new details on the FBI's investigation into whether John Bolton mishandled classified info. A newly unsealed search warrant shows at Bolton's home the FBI seized a phone with several camera lenses, USB drives, computers, and a white binder labeled Statements and Reflections to Allied Strikes. Bolton is a former Trump national security advisor and now fierce critic of the president. We've also got wild video out of Long Island. Look at this dash cam video from this car on the highway, and then you see it there. Another car goes totally airborne, flies over 4 lanes of traffic. The local fire chief said the driver landed in a tree and only had minor injuries from the crash. That is incredible. And take a look at this, a line at the Oregon Zoo discovering a camera hidden in its enclosure. The curious cat even got a selfie there. You can see her tossing the camera around, even chewing on it. That was what it looks like to be inside a lion's mouth. Finally, the zoo got to it, was able to rescue that camera. When we come back, the surprise of a lifetime for this Eagles superfan and the battle he overcame to get there. Finally, there is good news tonight as the NFL season kicks off. One of the Eagles' biggest fans surprised with the gift of a lifetime by the same team that stood by his side when he needed it most. For as long as 8-year-old William Weir can remember, it's been fly, Eagles fly.
Eagles kickball.
Now it's the Eagles cheering him on after his health took a sudden turn last year.
William in the beginning was starting to complain of headaches.
His mom Stephanie says his vision began to change. Soon after, he was diagnosed with retinoblastoma, a rare form of eye cancer.
He doesn't deserve to be going through this, and we needed to fight for him.
William would undergo brain surgery, but through the hard times, William's flock came to his side.
Hey, what's up, William?
Including retired Eagles defensive end Brandon Graham.
I'm thinking about you and rooting for you and wishing you all the best.
And a hospital visit from stars Jalix Hunt and Williams' favorite, Cooper DeJean.
Every time the Eagles played, he had lights strung up on the back of his bed.
As he got better, the Eagles invited him for a preseason reunion on their turf, hanging with Swoop during practice. And then, just yesterday, William completed his last day of radiation just in time for the biggest surprise of all, getting tickets to Super Bowl 60.
You know, going through this hard journey, it's really amazing that they're just continuing to think of him because he deserves it.
They stand ready to cheer each other on. That's Nightly News for this Thursday. I'm Tom Llamas. Thanks so much for watching. Tonight and always, we're here for you. Good night. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.